which will be contributing to offer service to people. Now, when it comes to the informal sector, which is the biggest proportion of Kenyans, the system that they're talking about, this means testing. It's not even working. They have no way of telling who will work. In fact, at some point, you heard in Parliament them saying that it will be like Hustler Fund, and we all know the story of Hustler Fund. You don't need to go. I don't need to go into the details of that. So essentially, what you're seeing is that because salaried people are out there, it's easier to tax their monies from the employer. We just go ahead with that. The figures that are being proposed are not realistic. I mean, you've taxed people for housing levy to pay for houses that we will not even benefit from. Then secondly, now you're bringing in this health tax that is only being paid by a proportion of people. So I watched this video of this old man who was crying. I think most of you have seen it. Who was talking about how he has no money, he has kidney failure, he's feeling sick, and it's completely heartbreaking. These people have no empathy. And you look at what is being propagated, and I listened to what Nelson was saying, and it's not any further from the truth in the sense that there's state capture to some extent. There's state capture actually, because how would you allocate more money for procuring a system and less money to offer services to people? It does not make sense unless people are going to benefit from this money that you're allocating at very high proportions. And that is where, unfortunately, if we do not talk, especially us in the health sector who've worked in this sector for years, we are going to see Kenyans suffer. This narrative that you will no longer have to pay harambes for your people, you will get free service, it's a lie. Because at the end of the day, you will still have to pay for yourself and pay for your families and pay for your relatives and pay for everyone who in your circle, because we are all supporting someone somewhere. That's the reality. So you're reducing the amount of money we are earning, all of us, whether we're in the formal or informal sector, and then you're squeezing us further by saying we have to co-pay. So where is this money going to come from? So you have a government that is making decisions that are utopic. They're out of touch with reality. There's one point that I also want you to, and I'll finish with this one, is this, that if you look at all this, it's very silent on how the political class will seek healthcare. If indeed there was sincerity and that we are all equal or we are taking from, they're saying Robin Hood tax policies, look at the covers that the political class has. It's 10 million plus, 5 million plus for, and they have everything. But who is paying? Who is paying for these covers? It is us. It is the money that is we are taxed that is going to pay for this. So it's a class divide here, where because you're a political class, you will get the best of healthcare at the expense of Kenyans who are contributing their taxes. Then you go ahead and tax them more, give them a very minimum basic package that does not, for instance, 900 shillings per person per household. If you have children, you know how many times children fall sick in 3 months, in even a year. So if you go to the facility, you're told, and that is what's going to happen, that you will be billed. This is the amount. There was a doctor's consultation, there was tests that were done, and then now we have to give you medicine. So the bill comes to 3,000 or 2,000. And so you're told the government has paid for you 900 shillings as part of the universal health coverage that they're calling. So you have to pay for the rest. So if you don't have an insurance, please pay cash. That's going to be the scenario. So you can imagine how many people are going to go through. And then the last point that I've just remembered that is very critical is that the same Ministry of Health conducted an assessment of all healthcare facilities in terms of service delivery. And in reality, our facilities are not ready to offer this service. 77% of 14,000 facilities being ready to offer outpatient services, for instance. That's a very, very, very low figure. So you're telling us that you will send us there, then you go there are no drugs, there is no equipment to cater for you, and then if the service is poor and the queues are long, you have to find an alternative. The alternative, you still have to pay more. in all honesty, this system is a scam. And the worst thing that has ever happened is that they never listened to stakeholder recommendations. And I'm talking because I'm in this sector and I understand and I've been following this. No stakeholder recommendations were listened to. They stuck to where they were. And up until now, the position is where they are. They're going to go ahead with it, whether we like it or we don't like it. So it's upon us to decide as the people how we're going to tackle this and how we're going to push back. Because if we don't push back, they will keep pushing. So it's a pushback. And I've been in this, I mean, for it's almost 10 years now. We've been in the union before, we have been jailed at some point. During COVID, we saw how people were dying, doctors were dying, and then now came the COVID scandal. It's a systematic thing, and we have to find a way of pushing back on this. Thank you, Americ.
All right. Most of you don't know Daktari here. Daktari was among the union leaders who were jailed. Was that committee?
I was in Athi River, but we went to committee at some point.
Yeah, so there's something you said when we were chatting. You told me that 20% of Kenyans are going to carry the burden of 80% of Kenya. Maybe you can summarize that?
Yeah, so this is how I'm going to explain it. If you look at the formal sector, which means those people who are earning salaries, every month they're paid a salary and they're employed, the percentage is that minimal percent. Our statistics are almost 20%. And then the bigger proportion of Kenyans are in the informal sector. Either you work in the Juakali sector or you have a business that you are running and so you're self-employed. And that is where the problem is. And by that I meant that for us, those of us who are working in the formal sector who have salaries, it is very easy for them to say this is which is what the law says that they have formed. This is a statutory deduction. So it will be deducted from your salary whether you like it or not. And I've been seeing over the weekend a few letters going around from employers in the public sector that go to because for one thing they did is migrated all formal sector employees from NHIF into SHN. Then they sent messages. I think there were messages going around last week telling people to go and fill in their profiles. And that is also not working, by the way, on the back end because the systems are not ready for this. So that means it gives them an assurance of this money that you're going to start with for the Social Health Authority and Social Health Insurance Fund, if you listen to them. Now, the informal sector is where now they're saying we're going to do means testing. They'll come to your house, look at your TV, look at what you own, and then fill in some few questions. And then now from there, they'll determine how much you'll be paid. Now, if you're saying, and they're saying it's going to work like the Hustler Fund, look at the Hustler Fund and how they're also struggling with the 7 billion that they're unable to get from Kenyans. And if you look at the university funding model that also talks about the same thing, means testing and the banding and all that, it's not worked. It has to be reviewed. So now you're causing chaos in a sector that is literally life and death. I listened to Wanjiru, and when someone is sick, they're chronically ill, they don't have time. It's either they get treatment or if they don't get treatment, they will die. So how do you roll out a system you have not prepared and you're insisting that it must go on, despite being told you need to do 1, 2, 3. They have not signed contracts. So that is what I meant, that if you look at it critically, they have no way of getting money from the people in the informal sector. They're just talking of means, which is very theoretical, but practically, how will a mama mboga, chini mwenye anauza mboga pale, how will that mama mboga go into a phone? In fact, wengine hata wako na kabambe. You're saying you're sending community health promoters, they fill in. And then the thing is this, that if you're unable to pay the premium, because the premium per law that is in the Social Health Authority Act is that you should pay, if you're not in the formal sector, you should pay the full amount in a year. That 300 shilling you talk about, you're not going to pay it every month. It has to be paid times 12 months, which is what? 12 times 300 is 3,600. So they're saying because you're unable to pay, your income is erratic, we are going to give you a loan. And then once you've gotten the loan to pay for the insurance, you will have to now pay back the loan according to how much you're getting, even if it's erratic. Why are we going into financing in terms of a loan? Does it even make sense? It doesn't, in all honesty. And that is why I'm saying 20, this minimal percent will actually take care of the bigger population. That's not our responsibility. They're collecting taxes from us. So once they've collected taxes from us, it's a responsibility of the government to now offer the service. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much Daktari for that. Na kwa wale wenye wamestruggle kusikia, daktari anasema hivi. Anasema unapata hospitali umepewa 10,000 na hiyo kitu yao inaitwa SHA SHIF. Unafika kwa hospitali bili inakuja ni 30,000. So inamaanisha mgonjwa wako hawezi toka hospitali until you pay the 30,000. So this SHA sheet has given you 10,000. So you have to look for the 20,000. Otherwise hawezi toka kwa hiyo hospitali. That is the mess that this sheet is creating in this country. Na ukiona hapo topic ya leo nimeita our sweat, our blood, our urine and our tears. Our blood. Tuna struggle kama wa Kenya.
Reading and it will reduce Kamlesh part. Now with people wanalazimisha SHIF ingie into play. Now SHIF is a boat that is porous before it starts. Actually, it's a stillbirth. It's a dead on arrival. When you are launching something and it's not peaking, the public participation is dull. The people feeling it carries the canopy of oppression. Then definitely that's a wrong ship to board. I'll start here, like how my brother Dr. Mwachonda, and thank you Mwachonda for expounding some of these things. You cannot subject 3 million civil servants to pay for the health of 50 million Kenyans. There can be better models which can accommodate an entire, but you're deducting 2.75% of gross ni before hata taxi iguzwe, then you are deducting such an amount of a civil servant, which means if you are earning 1 million bob, unaenda kutoa 2.75% of that. So basically they are forcing you to double tax so that they can have a bigger pool of where money can be stolen. And this is where the ridiculousness is. What are the benefits of the monies that we are being deducted every month? What are the benefits of the monies that they are telling you as a boda boda or a mama mboga that we will come to pime TV yako ni how many inch? So when you come to my house and my son has bought me a 55-inch TV, does that mean that that is my housework? Oh, okay. So maybe you took a loan in your local chama or a merry-go-round and you owe a few cups which are of glass. Does that give the government audacity to tell that you are as worth as the cup which are in your cupboard? That is total nonsense and a total sham. That is why SHIF is coming to, it's a fraud from the start. And I'll tell you practically what is happening in the hospitals. Last week, I work in the MTRH, and I've seen common letters from MTRH, from KUTRH, from KNH, letters which are similar, only the font and the nini, pale juu imebadilika, the emblem, but similar, trying to prove that, oh, people are being treated and SHIV is working and people are coming. I saw a letter which was very laughable from KU. We've done 10 dialysis. Come on, why are you bragging for doing 10 dialysis to Kenya? What nonsense is that? Dialysis is people's rights. This is how these people are getting their health and orienting themselves as per health demands of them. You can't write to people letters bragging how you've done dialysis. So is that how cheap you've become because you're just trying to force some insurance to people? In On Wednesday last week, I was supposed to make a theater list in Spain to be operated on Thursday. NHIF owes MTRH over 2.3 billion shillings. Now, there is a rollover. Watu wanafaa waingie shift. Aya, kuna mtu mwenye amepata pre-authorization ya NHIF who we were supposed to operate on Thursday. Then when they are coming, we are struggling to have them on the theater list, and we are told, oh, we even have struggles with NHIF. They have not even cleared us. So they'd rather come when shift has stabilized. The fact is, shift will never stabilize. It will not stabilize soon, and I pray that it collapses so that we get a better orientation. Why should shift fall? It should fall because the services which have been given by shift are totally bizarre. They are a joke. Unaweza ambiaje mtu eti your dental cover for a year is 935 bob. Kwani hiyo ni ya kununua toothpaste na brush ndio usugue meno? You know, it's just joke kabisa. How can you tell someone that your optical cover is 2,000 shillings? 2,000 shillings ya kufanya nini? Ya kununua kioo tujiangalilie. So everything in this shift, it's just created from mediocrity. And I'm sorry, I know there are people who are surrounding the president and the Ministry of Health. When I heard the CS answering and explaining herself about shift, it was just a joke. You listen to her, she's very clueless. People have to stand up and try to salvage her, like totally rudderless. She does not know what she's defending. She does not. She says, "Oh, Safaricom, imekuja. Safaricom is part of the government parastatal." Like total shame. And some of these people in government should do their researches very well before they come to media and they tell us about stuff, because we are the basic service provider. When a patient who's receiving dialysis misses dialysis, I'll not see that patient in the next 3 sessions. They'll be dead. You see, when a person who has come, last week I saw people who came for chemo in Chandaria being told to come back again. How much chance do you have for a patient who's receiving chemo mwenye tunatuma nyumbani angoje shift is stabilized? So there is another report we may never see, which will be happening in the depths of our village. People are going to die. Why? They are going to die because they can't get access to cover. And there's something that the government is really bragging about. It's bragging about the people who have gotten into shift. There is too much panic in around, which is cutting across. Many people relied on NHIF to receive their dialysis, to receive their chemotherapy, their antihypertensive. Many people have diabetes, and all these things were being run by an insurance company. So one morning, when government is saying we have closed door for NHIF, what happens next? Of course, people will go in a panic. Everybody will be running around to try and register so that they can still pick their drugs. Sadly, the government is looking at that, seeing like, oh, our people are very motivated to join this shift. No, people are not motivated. Shift is not right for anybody. We have seen we are the first primary people on the ground, and I can tell our Kenyan citizens that shift does not work. One of the better things to show you that something is good is the simplicity of it. You don't need 1,000 paragraphs to explain how something is good. You just need to say this thing is about your healthcare. Now look at this. We're having 104 billion shillings, which is being set on just database. Are we even understanding what that is? Like we have three arms. We have a primary healthcare fund, emergency and chronic illness fund, and then the social health insurance fund. The primary health care fund and emergency and chronic illness funds are funded by the exchequer. Now, the 2.75% and the monies they are saying they are coming to interview our caps and radios and TVs are going to fund the social health insurance fund. Now, from this money, you're telling us that they are not even, you're not going to assign monies to this healthcare provision. You're going to assign most of those monies to create database. Hii database inaenda kusaidia nani? What is the use of you creating database for us, yet I'm still struggling and suffering? Why would you take 104 billion shillings to create database, yet you're running a healthcare funding system? So what is the essence of the name of healthcare funding system? Then just call it database funding system, and then part of the helps that we'll get in healthcare is part of the monies will go to healthcare. So we find this shifting very, very unnecessary right now. I know they have put a lot of politics which are superseding it, but I want to really encourage us to be very vigilant. Let us not allow this shift. If we allow shift to slide into this carpet and below our feet, we will go back to the days where we will be doing harambes. How can we have a document that says for you to be treated for prostate tumors or prostate associated diseases, you must be 55 years and above? How do we have a document that separates cancer patients and removes youths who can also, who are susceptible also to receive to get tumors from the scope of management of tumors? So basically, my brother Eric, this document is very, very bad. And lastly, allow me just to speak, because we are in healthcare. We have our intern doctors who are away from work. There was a court process that was supposed to be finished last month. It was postponed to this month on 17th. Now, all intern doctors in this country are away from work on a strike. Who are the primary care, let alone intern doctors alone, intern doctors, clinical officers, nurses, all the interns of healthcare provision? Aren't these people the same persons who provide healthcare deliverables in the hospitals? Sasa sisi hapa tuko tuna madaktari, nurses, clinical officers who are doing internship. They are not even being paid, and the doctors, interns are away from work. And we have audacity to say we are rolling out a shift program, yet you can't even pay the interns. If you go to any local hospital in the county, 80% probability of the person who will do a cesarean section on you is an intern doctor. 90% probability of a person you will see treating you in casualty is an intern doctor. Intern doctors run 95% of health workmanship in this country. Right now, they are away from work. Serikali haitaki kuaddress hiyo mambo. It's forcing shift on people. Why are you jumping? So what is the interest? We know we have a businessman president where pali pesa iko hapo ndio anaweka. Wakati airport inaweza mpatia a few coins, analeta adani hapo. Sai Murkomen anataka kuuza viwanja za mpira kwa maana itampatia kitu. Health, it's just because he'll make some profit. But you see, juzi tulikuwa tunauziwa kokoto na mafiambuzi ndani just because it can give him something. But at whose expense? At what cost of the livelihoods of the people in this country? I think we just need to refresh ourselves, appear in the streets, refuse this shift and everything that is being brewed from a corrupt system. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Darwin, for that. And you've raised a very, very, very valid points. Kama kuna mtu hajasikia, kama kuna mtu haelewi, this one has come from the horse's mouth. The people who work at the hospital, the people who interact with those patients. So imeguja from the horse's mouth. So don't doubt, don't listen to politicians. And before I go, I want to bring Francis ndio release. But I want to tell you something. This country began going to the dogs in 2013. Unipatie tu dakika moja niwa explainie. Hope you listen to me. So in 2010 tulipitisha katiba mpya. 2010. Na katiba yetu ilitangazwa kuwa one of the best constitutions in the world. Because iko na chapter, I think it's chapter 12, yenye inaongea juu ya public finance management. So inamaanisha kama wewe ni public servant na umechukua pesa, you have to account for that money. So tuliandika a chapter ya constitution vile pesa taxes za Wakenya zinakuwa used. So in 2012 wabunge wakapitisha something called the Public Finance Management Act. Hiyo Public Finance Management Act kuna kitu iliandika hapo ikasema pesa yote ya Wakenya inaingia kwa kitu inaitwa consolidated fund. Na ika explain vile hiyo pesa inatolewa hapo, vile controller of budget ana authorize hiyo pesa vile itatumika, and then ikishatumika auditor general anarudi kuangalia vile hiyo pesa imetumika from the consolidated fund. Sasa these two twins Mandugu Digital wakaingia kwa power 2013. So wakati waliingia kwa power wakapata system zinafanya kazi. So wakajiuliza tutamake aje pesa. Kitu ya kwanza walifanya, they sent Kimani Ichung'wah to parliament. Kimani Ichung'wah was the chairman of the budget committee 2013. So 2014 waka amend that Public Finance Management Act, inaitwa Public Finance Management Act 2014. Imekuwa amended iko several after that, but I'm on the 2014 one. Sasa hawa jamaa wakaongeza another clause chini ya consolidated fund ya kwamba the government can come up with a secret consolidated fund. So Uhuru na Ruto ile pesa walikuwa na collect huko nje, madeni, manini, ma Eurobond, ilikuwa inaingia kwa hiyo private consolidated fund. Na mimi as a Kenyan sijui who is the signatory behind that fund ama that consolidated fund. So now this is what they used to do. Nataka munisikie vizuri. So juu pesa imeingia kwa hiyo consolidated fund ya kisiri na hawataki kushikwa, they added another clause ya kusema pesa inaweza toka hapo na ilipe supplier wa direct. You get it? Imeshika mpaka hapo. So this private consolidated fund wanaweza ingia hapo bila ruhusa, watoe pesa, walipe direct to the supplier without involving the parliament. So now this is what these guys used to do. Wakitaka kutoa pesa hapo ndani, wanaenda wana identify project. Wanasema hii barabara ni 7 billion. So what they do, they look for a contractor. Wanaambia contractor, leta your BQs and everything. So contractor analeta. So contractor akishapeana hizo vitu, wanafuata tu sheria vizuri vile inatakikana, and then wanaenda wanatoa pesa. Wakitoa pesa wanaweka kwa account ya contractor. So contractor anaenda site, media inaitwa, Wakenya wanaitwa, red carpet inawekwa hapo, plaque inawekwa hapo, this road is being commissioned by the president, blah 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 blah. And then after that 2 days later they call the contractor. They tell the contractor, boss, wewe baki na 10%, turudishe hiyo pesa ingine. So contractor yeye anakaa kwa site 1 or 2 months, anachukula 10% yake, the 90% inaingia kwa mifuko za hawa jamaa. That's why unaona projects mingi zimekwama. That's why unaona watu kama Morara walikuwa wanaenda kwa different projects wakisema hii ilikwama lakini pesa ilikuwa allocated. Hii ilikwama lakini pesa ilikuwa allocated. Let me tell you something, Kenyans. Hakuna vile project inaweza kuwa commissioned na haijakuwa allocated pesa. There is nothing like pesa ya hiyo project iliisha. Pesa huwa inatolewa, inallocatiwa, and then people pocket the money. That's how money has been withdrawn from this private consolidated fund. Na kama wabunge wetu wangekuwa watu wazuri, they would have raised a red flag on that private consolidated fund. Yenye pesa ya deni inaingia ndani, and then people withdraw that money in the pretext of funding or paying suppliers when you wametengeneza barabara, wametengeneza dam. And that's why you'll see someone like Ruto ako kwa hii project leo, after 2 years ako kwa the same project, after 3 years ako kwa the same project, because these are called cash cows. Francis, mambo ya Shiv and then I release you, Wende.
Me, you know, I wanted to speak about Chief, but me nikisikia the name Uhuru Kenyatta, I just shaking. Comparing Uhuru to Ruto, Uhuru right now, because of the amount of debt he has left this country, because of the amount of sabotage, deliberate sabotage. The other day I was talking about Alcoblo. It sounds small, but it's a significant thing. You're looking at, they erected Alcoblo on all the entry points in Nairobi because they were trying to manipulate. They wanted a CBD to fall, and they were doing it out of malice because they knew this person had property here, this person had property. So if we block access to CBD, then nobody will be going, and all these properties will collapse, and we can buy them at a throwaway price. So this motherfucker, this guy called Uhuru Kenyatta, we are cutting him so much slack. This guy should be in jail. He's a murderer. He's been charged, and I keep on telling you, Uhuru and Ruto were in the ICC. They were charged with the highest crime in the land, in Earth, in planet Earth. These are people who have no souls. These are dark bastards. And anytime, like now, I saw somebody saying that on Tuesday, we are supposed to be protesting, we are supposed to be occupying parliament because of this nonsense, this charade they are trying to engage us in. They are trying to distract our attention from Adani and all these fucking Muhindis. They are getting to do their funny deals. Adil Kawaja, chairman of Safaricom. Chairman of Safaricom. Why aren't you boycotting Safaricom right now? Do you still have a Safaricom SIM card? You should have boycotted it by now. If Adil Kawaja is going to remain as a chairman, that's the guy who Nelson Amenya has been working so hard to expose together with Jayesh. These guys are the ones who want to capture our public health care. They want to turn it into their own cash cow. These fucking Muhindis. Are we here? Are we going to tolerate this bullshit? Is this a more era where we had Kamlesh Patni paraded over there pretending to be catwalking on the media? No, man. We have to show these guys that Kenya is our country. Kenya is Marwa. We cannot allow them. Adil Kawaja he's a fucking lawyer. How is he so embedded in our health sector? What business? Because Adil Kawaja is also a director at Nairobi West Hospital. What business do they have? What interest do they have in the mass murder of Kenyans because they want to kill us? This is genocide. This is premeditated. You understand? So when we are talking about people like Uhuru Kenyatta, because the rain didn't start beating us over here, the economy was booming. I did a tweet the other day. I was saying that I used to go to a local in 2011 where we were 30 of us and we used to be friends, and then people just started falling one by one. Your company has shut down, you've been retrenched, you've been everything. And by 2019, nobody had a single job. Why? Because of this bastard, this clusterfuck called Uhuru Kenyatta. Uhuru Kenyatta is a demonic son of a bitch who you should not even be mentioning in any of your tweets. What influencers we have in Kenya are so full of shit, man. Why would you even compose? How do you get the strength to concoct a tweet that Uhuru was okay? Do you know Uhuru has taken Kenya back 30 years? Uhuru Kenyatta, we are briefing. What the fuck is the Ministry of Health trying to do? You should be in the streets. I've just listened to Wanjiro's presentation talking about her father. Her father is saying the father was getting 9,500 treatment every other time they go for dialysis. Now suddenly they are being told to pay upfront 11,500. You are listening to that idiot, that asshole called Moses Kuria. Moses Kuria is the biggest asshole north of Limpopo, south of the Sahara. I have never seen such a fucked up guy in my life. He comes there, he's telling you about health. Which health degree does he possess? Has he ever worked in a hospital? Is he an investor in hospital? No. And you're listening to him telling you about health, and the media is platforming. That's why we don't listen to these very media bastards, because they're full of shit. How do you give somebody who's not even a medical professional, health professional? We have professionals, there's no shortage. We already have these guys who are talking on this platform over here. They are telling us the weaknesses, the flaws within how an overhauled system which was working, now they are going to replace it with another one that isn't working, and you're there giving him airtime. You should be in the streets, you useless bastards. You shouldn't be listening to Moses Kuria. I get pissed off. I don't understand how you lack the mental tools to just analyze, to just look at this bastard, to just say this is bullshit, to just go in the streets and stay there. You're not going to the streets to be told to leave in the evening by Boniface Mwangi after he's been paid by the Ministry of Interior. No, you're going there to stay there until one thing happens, until the MPs leave, until they vacate, until they're not just vacating, not just running away in the tunnels. They should, that place, they should be made to stand there and forced to apologize to Kenyans for wasting our time, for serving vested interests. The next time that we are doing the mandamano, it has to be intentional. There has to be an objective. You're not going there to take selfies. You are there going to take selfies. You're there for vibes and inshallah. What are you doing, vibes and inshallah? You know very well that Safaricom is the one which pinged the locations of everyone who was in parliament. And all of them were picked up by the police, by the DCI one by one. And most of them went to be murdered. You know very well that happened. So why are you still having a Safaricom SIM card by now? Why are you still using that network? Amerix right now was telling me he was trying to use Safaricom, and it was, for some weird reason, the people who are trying to log in through Safaricom, they cannot get into this space. Why are you using a network that is deliberately structured to censor you, to censor your voice? You should have left a long time ago. This is basic and common knowledge. Why are you disregarding it? Because these are the guys who gave the locations to everyone who was picked up by the police. So it's not business as usual. I'm saying this beyond our collective interest, beyond our collective objectives. There has to be some element of personal responsibility. How do you still have a Safaricom SIM card till now? You guys take a lot of things for granted. You guys take a lot of things as a joke. You don't understand that Adil Kawaja is the chairman of Safaricom. He is bound because of the funny deals that he's doing with Ruto to continue giving location to the activists, locations of the activists, of the lawyers. They know where you are at any one time. They can come and pick you up any one time. So your first step into the age and into the realm of enlightenment is drop your Safaricom SIM card. It's as simple as that. Drop your Safaricom Wi-Fi's. Drop them immediately. And if we move collectively, we just need 10,000 of us to drop them. And then we have strength, and then we go growing. Yeah, if you hear somebody saying occupy parliament on Tuesday, be there, because this whole Gachagua nonsense is a charade, is a nonsense. They are distracting us from the can we say industrial scale looting that they are embarking on, because these guys, I told you, they are not creative in their thuggery. Then they just want to sit down and say, tui beapa, and so they get clusterfucks and idiots and assholes like Moses Kuria. Moses Kuria comes there and tells you about health. Why would you be listening about health issues to Moses Kuria, to obese buffoon called David D? Why would you be listening to them telling you about health? You should only be listening to issues relating to health from health experts. And they've already raised the red flag. They've already told you that this shift is a scam. This shift is a what? What is left to do? The courts have already pronounced themselves. These guys are going against the court orders. So what's next to do? You should be going to the streets like your life dependent on it. Like this is a matter of life and death. You should be there on Tuesday, not to go and support Gachagua, and he's also another asshole. He's also another useless old bastard who has not done anything, and now claiming that he wants our sympathy. But you should be there because of Chief, because you have listened to that story. It is very powerful. that now we are going to have no less than 60,000 people who are dependent on dialysis. They are not going to get that service because the Ministry of Health, because Moses Kuria, because this fucking Muhind is called Adil Kawaja and Jayesh, they want to steal money and take it to offshore accounts in Dubai. No, we cannot allow them. We have to tell them that this is not the more era. We have to make it clear to them that they are dealing with a new generation. This is not the generation of our parents who used to understand and they are told everything and then they agree. No. That's what happened in the 90s. And I told you when they had when they started mortgaging our parastatals, it was smooth, it was easy. They started glamorizing it. They started calling it the golden handshake. Yeah, they used to call them the SAPs, the structural adjustment programs by World Bank. They used to glamorize them, and then you're told, take the handshake, we are selling these parastatals. The parastatals that were being sold, which were profitable, which were stable. Kenya Airways was stable. It was sold under the guise of privatization, just like they are trying to do with our public health sector. It was sold in 2004 to KLM, which was a privatization where people were hiding behind there so that they can steal the company. But has Kenya Airways become better because of privatization? No. In fact, ever since it was privatized in 1994, ever since it was privatized, it has costed the taxpayers no less than 100 billion. And yet they were touting, they were floating the privatization as a quick fix panacea, which is what these fucking Muhindis are doing with SHIF. They are telling you that now you concede what has been serving you for the last 30 years, and then they are telling you, no, now we have a new system. And then they bring digitization and technology. No, we have to move from there. That's how you guys were roped in Huduma number. I need to understand how you guys, once you hear a government press release, once you see the media, you fall in line. You're told, you're just there. That's how you guys got injected with poison under the guise of COVID, because you are listening to I don't know what. You're told Matiang'i used to come there and then he bangs the table, and then you say Matiang'i is a performer just because he bangs the table. You guys have to reevaluate the values that you take seriously. A significant, or can we say a government or a civil servant who is working hard. He's not working hard because he's appearing on TV banging tables. I've been seeing you guys getting excited by a Nairobi County government employee who is just going around pretending that he's closing clubs because of noise. Those are not the components which you're used to evaluate if a civil servant is working. It's the numbers. We want to see how much did you make, how much did you save, how much did you do. As you're hearing, there was a secret consolidated fund launched by Uhuru Kenyatta, done by Kimani Ichung'wah. Kimani Ichung'wah is one because he was the chairman of the budget committee. They did that. And we are allowing these people to lecture you. You go for Harambee, they lecture you. You should be pelting them with stones. You should be burning their vehicles. That's the anger that should be brewing inside you. Not there. You're telling me that I'm speaking shit. That is your work to be policing language? Have I stolen any of your money? Have I stolen any of your taxes? You should be channeling that anger, not to strangers on the internet, to the idiots that you elected, you queued there. You assholes. No, shame. You go and queue there, Rigathi Ruto, and then you tick right. And then you still want us to clear the mess. You want us to clean up the dirt that you created. At least you have to respect us. If you want to respect yourselves, you're going to respect the people who are giving their lives out here, who are spending every day just fighting for your rights. And you, if you're there, you're just busting your ass, just waiting for somebody else to work on your behalf. No, you will have to respect us from today. And we are not begging. Those guys who are talking shit, those idiots, like a guy like Kilundizi, Kino Samotero, you're talking shit there. You will respect us because you won't be creating problems and then you wait for other people to come and clean them for you. No. We are beyond that. And so before, as I close down, I'm telling you, the only solution that is remaining right now, we have spoken. Everyone has seen that this chief is a scam. Everyone has seen that Adil Kawaja, the chairman of Safaricom, wants to hijack our public health sector so that it can be in his pocket. And you are there. You are still using a Safaricom SIM card. In the list, you're going to stop using Safaricom from today, from tomorrow. That's the list that you are going to do. And then now we move forward. What's next? Are we going to the streets? Are we going to what? Are we going to court? Because these guys are not ready to back down. If they're not ready to back down, then what will you do? Are you going to wait there until your kin, until your loved one gets to go to hospital and then they're turned away and then they are having a life-threatening or terminal illness, life-threatening terminal illness? Are you going to wait until that day? No, we have to move fast. We have to, you have to think about once you hear about an issue like that one that Wanjiru has elaborated, once you hear it, don't think that it is Wanjiru's issue. Just know that you're next. You're just in line. It's just your time hasn't come. So are you going to move now or are you going to wait? The thing is now we need to start mobilizing. And don't wait for conmen. Don't wait for fraudsters. Don't wait for frauds to be telling you, to be triggering you on when to mobilize. For instance, I've just seen a video. There was a quiver in Mombasa Road. Guys were there. They were shouting, Ruto must go, Ruto must go. The next, because they've been kicked out under a fake fire drill. Why were you waiting, Ruto must go? You should have immediately there, you gathered all of you and marched to State House, marched to Parliament, marched anywhere. Why were you waiting? Why were you going home? You're going home to do what? Or you're going to look for another club. The moment you find an incident of injustice, an incident where your rights and freedoms have been infringed on, that's where you moved. Stop being told that you wait for Tuesday. That's what Boniface Mwangi did to you. That's how he killed the momentum of the revolution, because he's on the payroll of the Ministry of Interior. No, you don't wait. You act there immediately. Immediately you see something. If you're in Bypass, if you're in where, if you're in Gedorai, you see something, you march immediately. Stop waiting for Tuesday. Stop being told that you wait for Thursday. No, march immediately. You piss me off. Those idiots who are in Quiver Mombasa Road, you're a bunch of stupid idiots. You should have started marching there. If you've been kicked out from a club and you are there enjoying your own money, and then some idiot just comes and tells you have to leave. No, you should have marched there. You should have done more. You have to be proactive, you useless bastards. You have so much money. You can drink, you can take your hood rats out, you can spend all the money you want on your hood rats, but when it comes to rising to the occasion, when it comes to fighting for your rights, you have families. You will keep on paying black tax. When? For how long will you continue paying black tax? Just because people are stealing your money. Secondly, we have the locations of these MPs. We have the locations. We know where they live. We know their assets. We know where they take their children to school. We even know where their side chicks live. Why aren't you rising to the occasion? Do what's required for you. I don't need to stipulate it here. I don't need to elaborate it here. You need to do what is required for you. Now it's not about waiting for Boniface Mwangi. Now it's not about waiting for Hanifa. Hanifa now is selling buibus in Italy with your money. It's not about that. It's now about what will I do? Will I be part of the solution? And if you're not ready to be part of the solution, then go to hell. You piss me off, man. When I think about you guys, I feel angry. Anyway, thank you, Amerix.
Okay. NHIF was started in 1966. 1966. This thing has undergone transformation yearly upon year, improving it, fine-tuning it, and it was not mandatory. It was a fund. This shifting is an authority, SHA. So they have the authority to deduct money from you and you will not question it. But you don't say this. NHIF was a fund where Kenyans collect money and put in a fund, then this money is distributed. But this one is an authority, just like Kenya Revenue Authority. It has the authority to deduct money from you.
Thank you. Thank you. So, my name is Brian Silwes. I'm an urban spoken word artist. From Nakuru. And here is my submission. Sidai kufit any shoe. Mina dai to converse. Time you're having a serious convo debate ni ya nani international, nani local. Anyway, kwa hii story ni mstari wa mbele like Avangi logo. Ambia the current, he's the next former. Impact ya full stop worthy compare just comma. blow unto blogger. Deal breaker hahitaji broker. Ambia tume tumechoka. I stand with our fallen soldiers, mulikalia viti, but again you still don't sit well so far. Hata fala kwe blind, the moment ako in power, you'll get that fallacy. International mindset serving locally. Every evening, morning, you empty heads with guns competing to fill city mortuary. At a time, kuna video, they still want to shoot me. So ambia my nephew, better I die on my feet than live on my knees. Si hata mwenye alisema serikali ni ya shareholder mebaki lonely without company. But si tuko busy allowing our comrade to rest in peace. So story go, story come. So afande with or without uniform sare to judge my youth hata kama wamedress to kill. These looks are deceiving. People can't be dying because you want to earn a living. Na kijana pesa ya pombe isifanye unyonge watu juu ya kuwaibia. Nimerefi word kuliko MCA wako juu maneno ya ubakaji, sitaki kusikia Northeastern Sea Camel pekee. Hata watu wanaangamia. Free education sasa ndio imekuambia serikali hatuna kazi, alafu inatuuliza tushaisoma Bible ukakosa job wewe. So nitasisitiza a way to say no to stress, depression haina form, itakukosesha usingizi kwa hiyo mattress. Landlord wana plot na ma agent will wata make my night sleepless. Landlord wana plot na ma agent will wata make my night sleepless. Extra pressure. Nikipata padlock extra kwa mlango. Elimu ni ufunguo wa maisha lakini si wa mlango. So hapo kwako education keys ni useless. Hata uwe most spice were useless. Whether in the past ama present, relax stance. Don't stay wondering what to do. Stay hydrated. Because water is source of life, but life is not source of water. Weomba kazi na wasko pia ukate maji lakini usikate kakuota. Na kabla ulewe chakari, ulihepa aje option ya soda. So karibu kwa hii generation. Hii si ile generation ya kina grandpa. Kwa hii generation babu kupeana that stick kwa mjukuu wake, excuse me, yameiva kuliko nyanya. Now you know why kwa hii generation hatuna vituku. Kwa hii generation tuko tu na vituko. Kwa hii generation Fatma heri Muslim. Juu wengine in the name of kula kukunywa, don't be surprised wakileta cut as their daily bread. Amwezi observe the holy month of Ramadan because at the end of the day you still afford to have debts. Na sisi sasa country tushakam clean, tunapenda content chafu zikitrend, wasanii wanaturn to be politician ndo watutumia after kushindwa kutumia beat. Na ikifika ni time ya face the music wako na guts za kutushow wait a bit. Mastudio ameturn to be the best teacher vile wako experience na hizi vitu. Wengine na skills za kutoa mimba wajuu walitoa wapi hiyo usiku. Jigas ndo wameshindwa kutoa despite kuwafunza kwa hizo miguu. So wewe kuwa na subira Julia cha kuvuta heri, siku hizi unavuta za juja. Excuse me, ati they make you feel super high nika ujue the way to heaven IPT thika. So kwa hii generation nimekuja hata Nairobi nikarealize ma content creator want any content kuhusu whatever we are talking about. My name is Brian Silways. I'm an urban spoken word artist kutoka Nakuru. I do spoken word in matatus with Willie Oeba. I do spoken word in streets at where people are gathering. That's what I do. So you can call me for events. And I've just released my album. It's called Avangi album. It has amazing tracks, the spoken words, the revolution about social justice, just defending democracy. And it goes 500 shillings only. And on 12th of December, we shall be having a live event with my brother Willie Oeba. So make sure you come through. And you can get ticket through his bio. Thank you so much, Amerix, and let's keep on fighting for democracy.
Yeah, thank you very much, Brian. For those who are listening, I really like artists because I'm also an artist. Artists use their talent to push for civic education and to push for public discourse. That's why I give artists an opportunity to talk to us, poems, songs, spoken words, drama, anything that can build our public discourse, make us laugh at ourselves using sarcasm, using imagery, using symbolism, and all devices of literature. Because literature is what makes us think deep about ourselves. I was looking for Mwalimu Professor Njoya, my teacher. I don't know where she is. She has very good insight concerning this Shifsha. I don't know if Cyprian can get her or Bravin, but we had talked. She called me in the morning and she wanted to be part of this discussion. She's very, very solid. She has very good points when it comes to our spiritual, our collective spirituality as a nation. So, Nelson, I want you to finish so that you can break. What is the connection between Adani, Schiff, Shah, and all these madness?
Thank you, Amerix. So, this issue is so big. I don't know if people comprehend the magnitude of what is happening today in Kenya. It looks every day when I speak about it, people have been telling me, "Oh, you're jealous of Morara because you're saying he's taking all the attention." People are so stupid that they think when I say you're losing focus, it's because I want to be the focus of attention. By the way, let me tell you, I'm doing an MBA. I'm in a business school, and I would rather be looking for a job or be looking for ways to to secure my future rather than speaking on X. And I wasn't that active until I decided to come and speak out and try and help my country. So it's not about cloud chasing, as many people think, because I have a better personal life. Anyway, so this issue is of a huge magnitude. Adani Group, first of all, you all know Adani, how big it is. Adani last year, they bought a port in Israel, the Haifa port. Adani bought this port. Adani bought the port in Dar es Salaam. They have also bought in Bangladesh, in Sri Lanka. So Adani is really huge, and they're being funded by BlackRock. For those who are aware, BlackRock owns almost all companies in the world. So BlackRock is really, really huge. And Adani is connected to the Prime Minister of Abu Dhabi, the royal family of UAE. So Adani is connected to them. And you all know how UAE, these Arabs, they have so much money. They have something called the sovereign wealth funds. And the sovereign wealth funds of these Arab countries are in the trillion dollars. They have so much money. They're just looking for ways to spend this money. And they have discovered that investing this money in Africa is the best way to get a return on their investments. And one of the ways they're doing it is by using proxies like Adani, proxies like Jaesh, NMC. There is a clinic called NMC. NMC, there is, Amerix, is that you? Amerix, there's a noise. Anyway, there is a health facility in Kenya called NMC. This NMC Fertility Center is owned by Adil Kawaja and owned also by Jaesh. NMC is a subsidiary of another company in Dubai, in UAE, called NMC Healthcare. NMC Healthcare was involved in a $4.6 billion scandal in the UAE, and it was run by some Indian called B.R. Shetty. B.R. Shetty was a billionaire Indian in the UAE. Same thing, he was doing the same thing that Jaesh and Adil Kawaja are doing in Kenya today. And he was involved in a 4.6 billion scandal. He had to run away to India and he's never gone back to the UAE. The same people he was working with in the UAE, the same people in the royal family. There's one guy who is the national security advisor of the UAE, and he is also the prime minister of Abu Dhabi. So
To betika is to test the limits of speed.